Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I would have been here a second ago, but I was reading. How you guys doing tonight? Hope all is well. Hope you're having a great day. I'm here. I'm good enough. How's that? Wow, what a weird day. Where do I even want to start with tonight's show? I don't, I don't even know. There's so much stupid going on. Let's start with just the beginning, shall we? We'll start with that first part of the headline there. The Democrats not backing a it's not even a bill, it's just a resolution to ban or not to ban to what's the word I'm looking for here? To say anti-Semitism is bad. That's what the bill was. Like we anti-Semitism is wrong. And the Democrats I put in there voted against it, which is true, but it's not most of what happened. Bring it up here on the screen here. Yeah, so as you can see from this right here, 92 Democrats, instead of taking a stand one way or the other, almost a full half of their members in Congress there just voted present. Yeah. Now, they have a reason for it. And I mean, I can kind of understand the reason. I know that's going to come back to haunt me. But Jerry Nadler's the one who made this happen. Jerry Nadler himself, a Jewish man, fat piece of shit, but Jewish by birth. He got up there and he does not like this is just to condemn anti-Semitism, but he didn't like the bill or the resolution. If you hear me say bill in this part, I don't mean bill. I just mean resolution. There's literally no legal backing to it. It's just them getting up there and patting themselves on the back for going, this is right or this is wrong. So in this case, Nadler said that you shouldn't support this, and he encouraged all Democrats to vote present because apparently in the text of the bill, it says that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Now, I know there's a lot of people who try to take hey, I'm just anti-Zionist or I'm anti-Israel, I'm not anti-Jew. And I'm sure there's some people who honestly believe that. But I'm sorry. I feel like it's a meaningless resolution. So if you're going to wring your hands about this stuff anyway, do you really got to get that specific about it? You know what I mean? Why not just say, hey, we don't like anti-Semitism and leave it at that? But they do. They throw in the anti-Zionism thing, and that's what the Democrats, at least the 92 who voted present, what they settled on. Now, the 13 who voted no, they include some of our favorite people like Ariana Presley and Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush, and I think Bush was one of them. Don't quote me on Bush. But everybody in the squad except Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I didn't see her name on either side, so I'm guessing she's one of the Democrats who voted for it. But I couldn't find specifically. It was mostly squad members who voted against. Because, of course, they did. Anyway, I don't think they would have even read it. They'd just be like, what? We're condemning being mean to the Jews? No way. That's just the squad take right there. But for the others, yeah, I mean, they kind of had a reason. And I don't know if most people who say they're anti-Zionist actually hate Jews or not. I don't know. But I do think that there are people who can disagree with the idea of Zionism and still not hate Jews. So if I was a member, I would have had the balls to at least say no. And that's what really bugs me about this is not that they voted present, but they didn't have the balls to say no. If you really do believe that it was wrong to include that language, then you should vote no, not present. Am I wrong? Isn't it? I mean, if you believe it's wrong, you say no, not, well, I'm here. I don't know. It just seems like a wuss way out so that later they can go, hey, I didn't vote against that. I voted present. Well, vote no. Have some balls. It was my birthday yesterday, but I was asleep. Alyssa, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alyssa. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one. I really, really do. Yeah. Lots of birthdays in December. And again, late November, early December. We're looking at that February 14th kind of date in there, right? Lots of y'all had parents who were humping on the day of love. Anyway, not me. My parents just humped to do it. There was no special occasion. While we were offline, thank you, Disgruntled Technician, for 2 donations. First one said, Kyle seems to be a young man that fully appreciates what happened to him, but like many young people, can't quite grasp what it will mean in 10 to 20 years. The anger from the mob will eventually get to you. I truly hope he's getting help. I disagree. I don't think he understands what happened. I think he's repeating things that he's heard. I really do. And that it hasn't quite set in. Because I don't think he's old enough to understand. And again, for the other one, thank you so much for that donation. No, the AR in its original 5.53 caliber is not high powered. However, you can swap it for other things like the .458 SOCOM. The 5.56 is really only good for vermin. Like, I can't read that next word, or I can't read that next part. I appreciate it, but yeah, that it just becomes a little too celebratory of violence. Does that make sense? All right. Oh God. I really don't know which part of this I want to do next. I want to make fun of that guy, so we'll do that in a little bit. Should we do this from easiest to hardest? Yeah, let's do it that way. Good morning, Alan. Thanks so much for the donation. I appreciate it, my friend. Hey, nuts. Okay, so GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out, right? And it's not coming out for more than a year. It's coming out sometime in 2025. We had a trailer drop, and I don't think it gave a full, it just said coming in 2025, right? I watched it several times, but didn't pay attention to the very end. I'm excited for GTA 6. I love GTA, and I'm really hoping they don't ruin this one. There was a lot of talk when it was first announced because they're giving us our first female protagonist. Like, oh, they're going to go all woke. There's not much wokeness shown in the trailer. Nothing you can really point to. It's just GTA kind of stuff. But what did bug me when I'd seen the trailer is that it just kind of looks bland to me. There's not much of the story actually told. They're not telling us or giving us any plot points really, other than the chick is getting out of prison and she meets a dude and they got to stick together. That's all you get from it. It shows beautiful graphics. It looks like it should be a GTA game. I just hope they don't take out some of the humor of it, because the worst thing that could happen to a GTA game is not wokeness. It's boring. If you do the kind of shit that like Far Cry 6 did. I was talking about this with somebody else and they brought up Far Cry 6. If you just make it so I don't give a shit about playing the game, the story doesn't matter to me at all, that's the worst thing that can happen to it. And I gotta be honest, it kind of looks dull. But again, we don't have much, so I'm willing to withhold judgment. However, there were 2 groups of people who don't share my view. The first of which is this little piece of shit, Jackson Hinkle. Do you guys know who Jackson Hinkle is? I don't know why I keep seeing this guy's name so much. I actually, that's what I was reading right before the show. It's like, who the fuck is this guy? Well, apparently in high school, he was a pinko. He's a little commie fucking shitbag who is an environmentalist and is now selling himself to MAGA idiots because people love when somebody says, I agree with you now. He's an environmental shithead. That's who he is. It's what he made his bones doing. And now to stay relevant, he will say anything. much like the next person we're going to talk about. But he says this: why are the Zionists at Rockstar Games releasing this sexualized video game for children in America? Get hashtag ban GTA 6 trending right now. Dun dun dun. He spent a lot of time talking about this. A lot of time talking about this. And ban GTA was trending for a while with a whole bunch of people who were saying, how dare you make this shit for kids? Yes, exactly. For children, right, Kyle? Every GTA game that comes out is rated mature. Will children play it? Probably. Does that mean it's made for children? Nope. But that doesn't matter because people like Jackson here, he literally just hates Jews and he's taking it out on GTA 6. That's what this comes down to. He is brutally against Jews, man. Sorry, he doesn't like Israel. Whoops, almost told the truth. He really hates Israel, and because of that, he thinks GTA 6 needs to be banned because there's a woman in a bathing suit, and then this woman here who's twerking on the top of a car for reasons I don't know. It's a moving car. It's supposed to show the crazy life in Vice City, which is the version of Miami. Keldrick, thank you. That was quite the string of idiotic words that Mr. Hinkle typed there. I know, right? Just the damn Jews are making your kids masturbate. He goes into talking about some how okay, I'm just going to leave it at what I've said so far about the guy. The guy's retarded, and he just really doesn't want the game to be made because Jews are involved somehow. Do Jews run Rockstar Games? I have no idea. I really have no idea if pro-Jewish homeland people run Rockstar Games. Anyway, so we had that one, and that one is stupid. But then this one, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know the first guy in this thread. It's the guy who says, list of games I've not played: GTA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, nobody's played 6 yet because it's not out. It's not finished. So even the people who are making it haven't played it yet. They played parts of it. But that's splitting hairs. He's trying to, I've never played GTA. Well, can we get this guy a golf clap? Aren't you so cool that you've never... I'm just going to start announcing all the things that I've never done that are mundane. You know, I've never played polo. See if I can't get people to go, yay, go you. But anyway, Elon Musk replies, tried, but didn't like doing crime. You bought a game called GTA thinking you weren't going to have to do crime? You bought a game called Grand Theft Auto. You played a game called Grand Theft Auto. And you didn't like doing crime, huh? Okay, fair enough. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it. And you know what? I'm going to give him a break on that part. Because here's why. When there's games that allow you to do evil stuff, like take something like Neverwinter Nights, and I think it's in their first expansion where you actually get to do more evil stuff. I can't bring myself to do the evil side. I got to do it. I play as a hero, so I don't do the evil stuff. However, when I'm playing a game where I'm a degenerate fucking criminal who shoots and steals and does whatever the hell he wants because he's a fucking criminal, I have no problem doing the criminal stuff. I buy the game understanding I'm going to be playing a criminal. But if Elon can't bring himself to shoot pixels in the shape of police on a screen, fine. I still want to know what you expected, though, when you played a game called Grand Theft Auto, if you have problems committing fake crimes in a video game. I'm just curious. I honest to God don't know. KOTOR, the Dark Side playthrough almost broke me. Never played KOTOR Dark Side. Not once. I've finished the original Knights of the Old Republic a couple of times and was good on all of them. When I played 2, I played good. I can't play bad unless it's something like this. Is Elon just trolling? I doubt it. I doubt it. But then Ian Miles Chong. Oh, Ian. He shoots up with this. I'm glad shooting cops in Cyberpunk 2077 is completely optional. Never finished GTA 5 either. Now, you can't see it on here for some reason. There's a community note attached to this. It tells us that Ian Miles Chong has written at least 255 articles for Gamer Rants about GTA 5. But here he is sucking up to Elon. Like, yeah, man, I'm so glad I didn't have to kill cops in 2070. So killing cops hurt me so much, man. I couldn't even finish GTA 5. I hate Ian Miles Chong. I hate the man. Not just because he's doxed people and possibly is responsible for a dog being murdered. I hate this man because he has no principles. His only principle is saying anything he can to get famous. He has literally had every possible opinion you can have. You go out there and be like, does Ian Miles Chong believe kicking puppies is okay? You will find a for and against. I'm almost positive. He takes every side of every issue. Whichever side is most popular at that moment, that's what he will say. He does it over and over and over and over. This is a guy who started out as an SJW, by the way. A full-on, I love all the women's. The women's will never do anything wrong on the Gamergator side of things. I love all the women's. Why are you mean to women's? And then when it became obvious to him that there was a bigger audience to be had on the other side, flipped on a dime. And he's gone back and forth constantly. He is nothing but a clout-chasing twat bag who also doxes people to try to get them murdered. Sorry, not just doxes. I said swats people to try to get them murdered. But, you know, if you're on Twitter as much as I am, you notice that this guy, how do I want to put this? When Ian sits down naked, there's 2 sets of nuts. There's his sitting on top of Elon Musk's nuts because he rams him. He impales himself balls deep onto anything Elon Musk says. It's just more of his same old grift. And just say whatever it is because, hey, Elon can get me more clout. That's all it is. He will literally say anything to agree with Elon. And it's par for the course with this piece of shit. I really hate this man. And he's a big douchebag. And yeah, he's swatted people. We know he swatted people. I don't know if Elon knows that he swatted people. I don't know how Elon feels about, hey, this guy tried to get people murdered. I'm just asking. All right, let's move on to the more political stuff. First up, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have another Republican debate, this time in the state of Alabama. There's going to be 4 people up on the scene, 4 people vying to be the person who gets to run against Trump in the primary. We got Haley, Christie, Ramaswamy, and DeSantis. Oh God, I can't wait. I am very curious what's going to happen in this one. If the 3 men on the stage will have the balls, well, we know Ramaswamy will. If the other 2 men on the stage will have the balls to actually go after Haley. I doubt Christie will too much. Maybe, but I don't believe Christie's actually running. Christie's only in the race to try to embarrass Donald Trump. And without Trump on the stage, I mean, he's kind of boring up there, really. The Ramaswamy Haley thing has been heating up, and I do want to see if Ramaswamy calls out Nikki Haley for calling him a woman hater. Yeah, I'm very curious to see if he'll call her out for that. I hope he does. I hope he calls her out for pulling her rah woman bullshit. for playing the intersectional politics. Well then, well then, God bless. The internet just straight died. Holy shit. All right. Welcome back. Hi. We were talking about the debate, I think. God, what I would give for cable. Anyway, guys, so we have the debate tomorrow. I want to see if Ramaswamy will call out Nikki for her bullshit leftist ways of doing things, specifically her intersectionalism, her basically becoming the left that Trump himself fought against, and just hammering her on it. The really interesting question to me, though, isn't that, is what DeSantis will do. By all measures, Ron DeSantis should be leading the also rans. And in most polls, he still is. There's a lot of them where Haley's pulled even, and for a while, Ramaswamy had a few months back. But DeSantis, on paper, is the best candidate of the four remaining, the seven who were there for a while. And how he deals with her tomorrow will tell me a lot about whether this guy's even serious about running. Because if he doesn't call her out, if he doesn't go after her, I'm sorry, I can't support you. And here's why. No matter what you think of Donald Trump and how unpresidential he may look at times, Donald Trump treats anybody he sees as an opponent the same. Now, his insults might differ. Maybe she was bleeding somewhere else. Maybe she was bleeding from the downstairs there, if you get what I mean. Remember his comment about Megyn Kelly. So maybe it's more directed in a something that might upset a female. But if it had been a guy up there asking Donald Trump the same questions that Megyn Kelly did, Donald Trump would have found a different way to insult the guy because he treats them all the same. He insults them. Fuck them. You're not on my team. You're being mean to me. Whatever it is, fuck them. So if Ron DeSantis isn't willing to at least treat Nikki Haley the way that he would treat any other man, then I have no what's the word? I have no reason to even consider supporting you. Doesn't mean I think he's a bad guy. Doesn't mean I think he's bad at what he's doing in Florida. I just think it means he's pandering to the same bullshit that Nikki Haley's actually playing into. And it'll be interesting to see if her bullshit of going after Ramaswamy, claiming that he went after me, and then he went after Rona, and then he went Roma, whatever the fuck her name is, and then the female who was up there on this, it was all females. I'm not saying anything, but I think he hates women. I want to see how people like Christie and DeSantis handle that. I want to see if those two are going to be man enough to call her out for her bullshit. And frankly, I don't think they are. Christie's probably the most well suited for it because he doesn't care. He's not going to fucking. He's not going to run. It's just not going to. He's not going to win. It's never going to happen. Oh, disgruntled technician, thank you so very much for the donation. Do not worry about that. There's a reason that I read these things in advance. You did nothing wrong there. Nothing wrong there. I appreciate the donation, my friend. All right. So yeah, what is it? Tomorrow, Alabama. It's being hosted on. Where's the network? I forget what network it's on. Doesn't matter. We'll cover it in the after parties area. Well, not after party, after it. But one thing that did come up is Doug Burgum. What's his name? Burgum, North Dakota governor. He wasn't in the last debate. He finally dropped out. Because he didn't make the cut for this debate either. And he had some stuff to say about the debate. And not necessarily about the debate, but about the Republicans. And I kind of agree with him a little bit. Earlier in the day, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum pushed back at the RNC's tightening of the debate qualification threshold while announcing that he was ending his campaign for the GOP nomination. The RNC clubhouse debate requirements are nationalizing the primary process and taking the power from democracy away from the engaged, thoughtful citizens of Iowa and New Hampshire, he said. These arbitrary criteria ensure advantages for candidates from major media markets on the coast. We'll get to that. Versus America's heartland. None of their debate criteria relate to the qualifications related to actually doing the job for the presidency. This effort to nationalize the primary system is unhealthy for the future of the party, especially for a party that proclaims to value leadership from outside of Washington. All right. I don't like the requirements for the debate. I understand there needs to be some. There has to be, because in 2016 we had 16 fucking people who ran for president, just on the Republican side. In 2020 we had what, 12 or so? Was it 17 Democrats? And when you're having the debates, it's like, that guy has no chance. That guy has no chance. Why is this fucker even on the stage? Why are you on the stage? At the beginning of this primary, we had Asa Hutchins, who apparently still hasn't dropped out. I thought he had. He was on the stage. Hasn't been back since. You know why? Because nobody gives a shit that Asa's running. I have as much a chance to become the president of the United States as Asa does, at least in this election. Maybe later on in life he'll. Actually, he's getting up there in age. Who knows? But I look at some of the people that have been on the stage, like Doug Burgum. There was no way in hell you were going to win, even if you were allowed on every stage. So they have to have some kind of things to whittle it down, right? Maybe they should wait and do the debates later. Do them like a week before the primary and see who's still in at that point. But I do agree with him that the way they set it up is just arbitrary. Because like in this one, what is it? You have to have polled 6% or higher in 2 national polls, or 1 national poll and 2 early state polls, which include Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and there's one other state. I forget which one it is. But you have to poll at least 6% in 2 polls in those states. So it's kind of arbitrary. Why not 4? Why not just 1? 6% is a decent. I don't think that Doug could pull 6% anyway. But just a couple of debates back, it was only 4%. So it does look like there's some there. But what bothers me is the other part of it. You have to have at least 80,000 individual donations. That's the part that really bugs me. Because somebody like Ramaswamy, who's funding his own campaign, he still has to take campaign contributions, even if he didn't want to take any, just to get on the stage. We saw Mr. Doug Whitey, because I'm not popular enough to be up on the stage. This is a man who only got on the stage because he literally gave people more money than they donated to him in the form of gift cards. He basically bought his way onto the stage for the first two debates. And he wasn't shy about that's what he was doing. So they've made it so you have to have that money. I don't care about the money part of it. And I don't understand why you need those donors. You know what I mean? I get okay, you have to have so many polls. I don't know about the arbitrary nature of deciding how many polls, but at least that makes sense because it's showing how popular you are with the people. The individual donation one just makes it sound like you need to raise money for us. I mean, for you. Because that money typically, when a campaign ends like that, it has to go somewhere else, typically donated to charity or to a political party. Yeah, we're going to need you to get at least $80,000. It seems like a racket to me. That's all. And yeah, the truth of the matter is, unless something really weird happens, Donald Trump's going to be the nominee anyway. So this is literally just people running a race to see who gets to run against Donald Trump, who gets to lose to Donald Trump last. That's the real thing here. Who is the last Republican to get to lose to Donald Trump? As with all political predictions this far out from the actual voting, that is subject to change. All right. Now we get into the congressional debates. Oh my God. Now, there were two noteworthy congressional debates or congressional meetings today. Congressional hearings. One was on women in sports and Title IX. It's protecting women in sports and Title IX, I believe, is the official name of the hearing. And then the other one was looking into anti-Semitism on college campuses. Now, I did not watch much of the first one. I've only seen one little clip of it from that black congresswoman from Texas. I forget her name, but she talks like she just came out of a stereotype movie. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? She's a black woman who talks like she's coming from a Hollywood version of Compton. Do you know? Is that coming through? She's a black stereotype, is what she is. The woman can almost speak English. But I saw a clip from her because she starts what'd she call it? Was Texas and was it Alabama? I don't remember. But she calls these two states deplorable. That's where the deplorables live. And somebody objects, like, point of order. Can we have that stricken from the record? She said deplorables. It's actually fine to say that. And that's what the chairwoman said. She goes, look, she's not insulting somebody directly. She's not besmirching you. She's allowed to have an opinion on that state being full of deplorables. Shut the fuck up and let her give her testimony so we can all go home. I might have paraphrased the end there. But she made the right call because, yeah, as dumb as it is, you use that in a political ad, not, hey, you can't say that here. Shut up. There are rules in Congress about, like, let's say there's a debate going on and Adam Schiff is on the dais. You can't go, that piece of shit over there, Adam Schiff. That would get stricken from the record. But if you're just going, Adam Schiff's home state sucks ass, that's legal. That's perfectly fine. So anyway, that one I didn't watch much of. The other one, the college people, it's the heads of, let's see, University of Pennsylvania, MIT, and Harvard. And they had one teacher there. Hang on, I have an article who tells me who she is. I forget. It's the only reason I have this article up. Her name is Pamela Nadell, a professor of Jewish history at the American University, and the fourth witness at the hearing, testified that the anti-Semitism igniting on campuses today is not new, but rather part of a long history of American anti-Semitism. All right, maybe that's true. Maybe there's a long history of anti-Semitism. but can we at least admit that right now it's a little bit more accepted? Let me give you just a point of order on that, about how much more acceptable anti-Semitism is today. In this fucking hearing, one of the Democrats brought up not January. I did that when I was thinking about this earlier. Brought up Charlottesville. See, it happened all the time. Charlottesville. Those Republicans did it. That's where the anti-Semitism's coming from. Sure, why not? Oh, so we're going to watch a couple of exchanges. Now, the most famous one, at least today, the one that got all the attention, was from Stefanik up there in New York. And we will watch that one. But I want to watch this other one first. And this is, I don't know this doughy ass motherfucker's name. You know how many? There's 435 people in the house. I can't remember them all. But this chunky monkey on our screen here, he's got some questions for the head of head of Harvard. Harvard got hit the hardest in this, largely because Harvard is where we saw the day of the attacks several student groups come out and go, the Jews brought it on themselves. Actually, they said the Jews were solely responsible for what happened. Not just brought it on themselves. You are responsible. So here we go. This is this guy asking her some questions.
He also said, quote, we are committed to doing the hard work to address the scourge, end quote. Just moments ago, when Representative Kiley asked you questions, you reaffirmed one of those statements and said, there is no place at Harvard for anti-Semitism. Will you now reaffirm those?
Okay. Well, she did say that. At one point, she is asked about a study. It was not a study, a poll done at Harvard. I can't remember the exact percentage. I want to say it's 70, but don't quote me on that. A large number of people at Harvard say it's perfectly okay to shout down a speaker. These are Harvard students. Perfectly okay to shout down a speaker. And she goes, that's not no, that's wrong. That's not what Harvard believes. Your student body does. The people who are going to your schools certainly seem to think it's okay. Why is that, young lady? I say young lady, she's old as shit. Why is that? Why do the people going to your school believe that a valid response to somebody talking is talking louder than them till they shut up? If it's not a value at your school. I mean, sure, you're going to have some people that are that way, right? But it's a majority opinion on your campus. Anyway, sorry. He's asking her to reaffirm something she already affirmed. I don't know. Apparently, he works for the news media in the White House Corps.
Statements today.
That's an ugly tie.
With me.
Yes.
Good. Are these mere words, or is Harvard willing to put action behind these words?
We are acting on that commitment.
Tell me how you're acting on that commitment in a very specific manner.
Well, to begin with the immediate actions that are focused on the physical security of our students in our campus, there's enhanced police presence, 24/7 threat monitoring, coordination with local, state, and federal law enforcement, and when necessary, we close the gates of Harvard Yard so that outside actors are limited in their ability to use our campus as a platform.
When you talk
yeah, okay, let's stop right there. What are you doing to fight this anti-Semitism? We're working with the police, and occasionally we shut the gates so that outside actors can't come in. Can I tell you how much I kept laughing as I was listening to this lady today and being like, that's okay. And then I'd pay attention to her name again and go, that's wrong to even think. What happens when the bad actors are on the inside? I'm not talking about outside act. They love that outside actors thing. They pulled this shit. Remember when they tried to burn down Milo at Berkeley? Do you remember what everybody said? Those were outside actors. Those weren't even students here. No proof of it whatsoever. None. Other than if you pointed out that the students there are horribly violent shitbags that have to actually own up to the bullshit that they're spouting to these kids. What are you doing to stop it on your campus? What steps have you taken? We called the police and sometimes we locked the gates. Yeah. Here's the thing. On October 7th, when 1,000 Jews were murdered, it wasn't outside actors who came in to student groups and wrote letters about how it was the Jews who caused it to happen, who said the Jews were solely responsible. Now, I'm not saying Harvard should do something. Fuck it. If those people want to say that out loud, let them say it. But why do you go to outside? Why do you blame outside actors when clearly you have a bunch of shitbags who go to your school? Ebony, thank you. And especially when she says, and make sure we don't give them, we close the gates to make sure we don't give them a platform. What about the people who are platformed in your fucking school? Is it only a problem if the Jew hate comes from people who don't attend? Sorry. Ebony, thank you so much. Instances like this make me think that Jews, like Asians, in that they are both oppressed groups when the far left decides that it's convenient. You're not wrong, Ebony. And for the record, you black folks are like that with them too. You guys you're a lot more convenient for them. You know, because of the history. It's amazing when oppression matters and when it doesn't. Anyway, but yeah, so I really had a problem with this part. Like, what the fuck do you mean, outside actors? It's so easy to just go, no, it's somebody else, man. It wasn't us. It wasn't me.
Talk about outside actors. Let's talk about the inside actors. So you've had a number of students and student organizations that have made many anti-Semitic statements in the past few months and past years, frankly. And it's gone, in my opinion, without any response from the university. President Gay, a report by AMCHA Initiative for the 2021-2022 academic year found that Harvard saw the most anti-Semitic incidents, that's 25, of any university surveyed. You were dean at the time, correct?
Sorry, what was the date?
2021 and 2022.
Yes, I was dean of faculty of arts and sciences, yes.
In 2022, after the editors of the Harvard Crimson endorsed the anti-Semitic BDS movement, which seeks the destruction of Israel, a group of 49 faculty penned a letter defending the Crimson editors. Did you ever speak out against BDS during that time?
The university.
BDS is boycott, divest. What's the S? I always forget the S. But it's a movement to not spend any money in Israel. That's what that's for. Sanctions. Thank you, Faithless. Boycott, divest, sanction. So, and not just not spend money, punish them. Punish them. I don't think people should be punished for having that view. I really don't. If you don't like spending money in Israel, don't spend your fucking money in Israel. And I don't like him going, did you ever speak out against that? And her, well, let's get back to her answer, because I cut that off a little bit to explain what BDS was. We'll take it back just a second.
Editors, did you ever speak out against BDS during that time?
The university and I am clear in our positions about BDS. We do not support that position. It's counter to academic freedom and at odds with the openness that is part of our strength as an institution.
Well,
wait, what? BDS is contrary to your... Wait, we got to listen to that word salad one more time. Let's get her answer.
Did you ever speak out against BDS during that time?
The university and I am clear in our positions about BDS. We do not support that position. It's counter to academic freedom and at odds.
How is BDS counter to academic freedom? I mean that sincerely. You can you can believe in BDS and still believe in academic freedom. In fact, allowing people to have the opinion that BDS is right would be academic freedom. If they can make an academic argument for it, why? It is contrary to it is such blatant pandering, is what I'm getting at here. If you believe in it, lady, just get up there and go, I believe it's the right thing to do. And I don't know if she does or not. I don't know if she has been vocal in her anti-BDS support. Maybe she has been. But even if she was, how does that translate? How does that translate to it's against academic freedom to have that opinion? It would seem to me saying you can't have that opinion would be contrary to academic freedom. Am I wrong? We're not talking about genocide here. We're talking about, hey, don't spend money over there and they should be sanctioned for things we think they did wrong. How is that contrary? And this is what I hate about this kind of shit when you have these people up in front of Congress. Because most of them won't say what they actually mean. She is saying what she thinks she has to say for the camera, because if she did believe in BDS and she said that, then it would be headlines. Anyway.
Odds with the openness that is part of our strength as an institution.
Well, when you
Part
say
of your strength is part of your strength as an institution is investment and non-boycotting of Israel. What? All right.
Hey, you said earlier, and you reaffirmed to me the statement, there's no place at Harvard for anti-Semitism. Well, those words really ring meaningless if those folks remain at Harvard that promote anti-Semitism. Would you agree?
We do not sanction.
And he is right there. You know, if you're going to say there's no place at Harvard for this, well, then if there's people at Harvard doing that, you have to get rid of them. That's what there's no place for that here means. It's such an easy thing to say. There's no place for that here. Did you get rid of the people who said it? No. So there is a place for that here. No. You got to pick a lane, sweetie. You got to pick a lane. Now, the reason we were highlighting this specific portion is about to come up.
Individuals for their political views or their speech. When that speech crosses into conduct that violates our behavior-based policies, bullying, harassment, and intimidation, we take action.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But you didn't say there's no place for anti-Semitic violence or anti-Semitic action at Harvard. You said there's no place for anti-Semitism at Harvard.
Have any students been expelled or disciplined for bullying, harassment, or these actions that you're listing?
I can assure you we have robust student disciplinary processes.
No. I'm not.
Has anybody been punished for this? We have robust policies. Fuck. This woman, you know, to become a president of a university, which she is, she's the president of Harvard University, you do have to be a politician. And dear God, is that a political answer? Has anybody been actually punished for this? We have robust. How many times have we seen, we were making fun of was it Corinne Jean-Pierre who gave us the robust policies thing not long ago? Fuck, man.
I didn't ask about. I did not ask about your process. I asked if any students had been disciplined or removed from Harvard as a result of the bullying and the harassment that's taken place based on their anti-Semitic views in the past months since the October 7th attack.
We consistently apply our policies.
So,
has anybody been kicked out? We consistently apply our policies. That's not an answer. It's not a fucking answer.
have any students, can you give me a number? Has it been 2, 10, 20? Or have there been 0 students that have been actually disciplined for their activity? Not their speech, their activity.
Students have been held to account for any episode in which they violated our behavior-based policies.
I love that word, our behavior-based policies. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you. Let's do a little hypothetical academic exercise, shall we? if instead of anti-Semitism, right? And this is going to come up in the Stefanik thing in a minute. If instead of anti-Semitism, this was racism against black people. If somebody was a Harvard student and they wrote a paper suggesting that the whole of Africa should be genocided to get rid of the scourge of the African, do you think they'd go, hey, all he did was talk about it. He didn't actually act on it, so we're not really going to punish him. You think that would happen? It's amazing how this stuff that if Donald Trump's people had said it, if it wasn't liberal college students up there saying this shit, if instead it was MAGA Republicans, they're MAGA Republicans and they're saying all this stupid stuff about the Jews, it'd be the worst thing ever. Literally, they brought up fucking Charlottesville earlier. But since there's some liberals who are doing this, frankly, anti-Semitic shit, well, it's just an exercise in academic expression. It's just look, man, they didn't actually do anything. They just said it. You guys, you have to be consistent. You don't have to, because you're like I said, she's a politician. If you're going to have any kind of credibility, you have to be consistent, and you're just not. We all know what would happen if this never happened, right? October 7th never happens. Instead, I don't know, let's say there's a Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. How many times have we heard about Charlottesville daily? We heard about both good people on both sides all the way up until January 6th, when they had something else that they could bang a drum about. And they still bring up Charlottesville. Anyway.
Do you know approximately how many of those students have been held to account in your mind? Or is that something you're going to keep from public view? I'm not asking for the identification of students. I just want to know how many students actually have been held to a disciplinary standard.
I'm happy to have my office follow up with some specific numbers if that would be helpful to you.
That would be
it would be very helpful, because it's actually the question that he asked you. If you don't know, then say I don't know. But he's again, I don't know who this doughy bastard is, but I love this part.
very helpful. I'm frankly surprised that you can't appear before this body going to talk about this issue and not be prepared to tell us whether or not any students, or to the extent or how many, have actually been disciplined for their anti-Semitic behavior in the past months. But you
Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to get to, him pointing that out. Like, you were literally called up here to talk about anti-Semitism at your college, and it didn't occur to you to maybe look up the number of people who have been punished for anti-Semitic behavior, not words, behavior. That never occurred. You run a fucking school. You run one of the most prestigious American universities ever. And she's like, nah, bro. I thought we were going to talk about like dinner settings and the placemat at Denny's or whatever the fuck. Like, nah, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. We have robust policies. Okay. Now, the one that everybody's been talking about today, we need to go to 107.25. That's close enough. Wait, that's 106.25. Hang on. One more. There we go. All right. So this is Stefanik. What's her name? Lisa Stefanik? I forget. Something Stefanik from New York. We've seen her many, many times. Sometimes she annoys the shit out of me, and sometimes she's all right. But she had this exchange with the three presidents and the one professor.
Thank you. Ms. Stefanik, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Dr. Gay, a Harvard student calling for the mass.
Can we just say Dr. Gay sounds like a villain from a 60s movie? Dr. Gay. Dr. Gay's coming to get the kids. What Ralphie didn't know knows what Johnny didn't know is Ralph was gay, was a homosexual. Chaos, Red Chaos Tree, thank you so very much. Seems pretty normal for people answering questions to not know the answers and why. I'll get back to you off camera. There's some times that it makes sense. There's some times that say, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is sitting up there and he's being grilled on a specific part of, say, the Army. And I don't know who the Joint Chief is right now, but let's say he's a Marine and he's like, I don't have the exact numbers from the Army. I'll get that to you. But in this case, I mean, this is literally directly related to what she was brought here to talk about. You never even in this, like right now, this is a hearing on anti-Semitism, right? That doesn't mean that the Congress people, when they're being asked or when they have their 5 minutes, that they have to ask something about anti-Semitism on college campuses. They can ask whatever the fuck they want to. So there are times where people be asked questions like, oh shit, I didn't know I was going to be asked that. I'll get that to you. And then there's times where you're right, where they're just like, yeah, I'll get that to you later. Now, it is also a good way to just deflect. And we've seen several government employees. I want to say it's happened to Mayorkas. I know it's happened to Director Wray of the FBI. I know it's happened to the Attorney General. Well, they'll get up there and they'll be asked, like, look, last time you were here, you told us that you were going to send me the numbers for X. I still haven't got that. Why not? So sometimes it is a way for them to just deflect and then walk away from it. But I just want to, there are times it makes sense. Not always.
Murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Oh, whoops. Hang on.
Stefanik, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Dr. Gay, a Harvard student calling for the mass murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Our commitment to free speech.
It's a yes or no question. Is that corrected? Is that okay for students to call for the mass murder of African Americans at Harvard? Is that protected free speech?
Our commitment to free speech.
It's a yes or no
extends.
question. Let me ask you this.
No,
You are president of Harvard,
oh,
so I
this
assume.
pissed me off. Don't let her get away. Make her answer that because it is important. If somebody got up there and take everything that's been said about Jews and you replace it with any other group and be, oh my God, this person can't be here anymore. Did you hear what they said? Did you hear what they said about Chinese people? They blame Chinese people for the coup, and we cannot have that at Harvard. This has been very selective in them suddenly being, I'm for free speech. And if this was like, hey, we're gonna let it be a fully academic, you can say what the fuck you want as long as you don't actually do anything, it's just academic exercise, fine. But we know for a fucking fact that's not how they run these places. There is one acceptable way to be. That's it. And if you go over the line, you're out. Unless it's over that line about Jews, apparently.
Assume you're familiar with the term intifada, correct?
I've heard that term, yes.
And you understand that the use of the term intifada in the context of the Israeli-Arab conflict is indeed a call for violent armed resistance against the state of Israel, including violence against civilians and the genocide of Jews. Are you aware of that?
That type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
That's fine, but what she asks you is, are you aware of that? That's abhorrent to me. All right. But you understand that's what it means. All right.
And there have been multiple marches at Harvard with students chanting, quote, there is only one solution, intifada revolution, and, quote, globalize the intifada. Is that correct?
I've heard that thoughtless, reckless, and hateful language on our campus. Yes.
So based upon
All right. And I honestly, I haven't seen this part of Stefanik. The part that everybody's showing is coming up here in just a minute. But what if that was any other group? Would you just get up there? If somebody was up there saying, we need to kill all black people. The only way to fix America is to kill black people. would you be saying, oh, yeah, I've heard that hateful stuff said on my campus? Would that be what you're saying? No, you would remove those people from your student body, and you goddamn well know it.
Upon your testimony, you understand that this call for intifada is to commit genocide against the Jewish people in Israel and globally, correct?
I will say again, that type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
That's not what she asked you. Do you understand that they're calling for getting rid of Jews? That's personally abhorrent to me. I'm glad that you're not up there going, yeah, I love that shit. But whether or not it's abhorrent to you is not the fucking question.
Do you believe that type of hateful speech is contrary to Harvard's code of conduct, or is it allowed at Harvard?
It is at odds with the values of Harvard.
Can you
But
not
our
say?
That's not the question. Seriously. This is like having any other politician up there. It's against our values. That's not what you were asked.
Hear that it is
Values
against the
also-
code of conduct at Harvard?
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable, offensive, hateful. It's
No, you don't. No, you don't. You selectively allow speech that's hateful.
when that speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies against bullying, harassment,
Does that
and
speech not cross
intimidation.
that barrier? Does that speech not call for the genocide of Jews and the elimination of Israel?
When
You
that speech-
testify that you understand that is the definition of intifada.
That's actually, she didn't actually testify to it. She sidestepped it. Clearly giving the impression that she knew that that's what it meant. But Keldrick, Keldrick, thank you. I detest this woman and her political non-answers. Me too. But here's the thing, because she brought this up. When it crosses into harassment, couldn't you consider it harassment for, I don't know, a student who supports Israel to be stopped and told that they're not even allowed to walk where they're walking because there's a pro-terrorist display going on? What about the idea of just you have people chanting, hey, we need to kill all the Jews? They're not using that wording, of course. They're using academic wording, infantada, which is actually just terrorist word for kill all the Jews. What about the Jews who are on your college campus? That's not, you don't consider that like intimidating to them or harassing to them? Couldn't an argument be made? Look, I don't think words should be banned based on you got your feelings hurt over this. But these aren't my rules. We're not playing by my rules. I actually support their ability to say whatever stupid fucking shit they want to say. As long as they're not saying, hey, go murder my wife. You know what I mean? But these aren't my rules. I don't run that school. She does.
Is that
When
speech
speech-
according to the code of conduct or not?
We embrace a commitment to free expression and give a wide berth to free expression, even of views that are objectionable.
You and I
outrageous,
both know
and
that's
Okay, let's stop there. Did you hear what she just said? We give a wide berth. You know why she said that, right? That is her golden ticket. That's her parachute. Now, I didn't say we allowed everything. I didn't say we allowed, no. I said we give a wide berth, but that right there, that crosses the line clearly. Come on, man. So if ever somebody does get in trouble going forward for saying something abhorrent about Black people or Asians or Latinos or even white people, like, oh no, we punish them because clearly that went over the line that I was talking about that day. We had wide berth, not total freedom. These fucking dirty bastards.
That's not the case. You were aware that Harvard ranked dead last when it came to free speech. Are you not aware?
Yep. That's a real study.
Of that report?
As I observed earlier, I reject that characterization.
It's the
of our
data shows
campus.
it's true. And isn't it true that Harvard previously rescinded multiple offers of admissions for applicants and accepted freshmen for sharing offensive memes, racist statements, sometimes as young as 16 years old? Did Harvard not rescind those offers of admission?
That long predates my time as president.
But you
so I can't
understand
speak.
that Harvard made that decision to rescind those offers of admission.
I have no reason to contradict the facts as you present them. here.
Correct, because it's a
Don't worry, guys. She's different than the people who did it before her. She's actually going to let people say what they want to. Not like those bastards who don't forget that white birth though. There are limits.
It's a fact. You're also aware that a Winthrop House faculty.
I wish there was somebody out there who was right now admitted to Harvard but wasn't in yet, who didn't care about actually going, who could actually test this theory. That after hearing this, right, going on to Twitter or somewhere and tagging her and just saying the most outlandish shit. And see if they go, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to rescind that because I'm all for the free speech.
Dean.
Huh? Did you hear what she said there, though? She said, I wasn't there for that. She didn't condemn it. She didn't go, yeah, that was a mistake. And the people who did that, I don't know what they were thinking. It's not a decision I would have made, but you're 100% right. That was fucked up what they did there. Yeah, that wasn't me. She pulled a Shaggy instead.
Was let go over who he chose to legally represent, correct? That was while you were dean.
That is an incorrect characterization of what transpired.
What's the characterization?
I'm not going to get into details about a personnel matter.
You know that guy got fired for somebody he chose to represent. That ain't what happened. Well, what happened? I'm not going to talk about it. So what she said was right.
Well, let me ask you this. Will admissions offers be rescinded or any disciplinary action be taken against students or applicants who say from the river to the sea or Intifada advocating for the murder of Jews?
Nope. No.
As I've said, that type
Say
of
no.
hateful, reckless,
Say no.
offensive speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Today that no action will be taken. What action will be taken?
When speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies, including policies against bullying, harassment, or intimidation, we take action, and we have.
Having people chanting through your courtyard that all Jews should be killed is not intimidating to the Jews. Cool.
Robust disciplinary processes that allow us.
Ebony, ma'am, it's a yes or no question. Most of these have been yes or no questions. And she has not been able to do one yes or no. Instead, she's got to look, we got policies and there's procedures in place, and we sometimes close the gates.
Policies, including policies.
By the way, I wasn't doing the list because her last name is Gay. It's just a voice I go to sometimes.
Against bullying, harassment, or intimidation.
Yes.
We take action, and we have robust disciplinary processes that allow us to hold individuals accountable.
What action has been taken against students who are harassing and calling for the genocide of Jews on Harvard's campus?
I can assure you we have robust
What
disciplinary
actions have been
processes.
taken?
I just want to remind you, this is 2 hours before the guy we just saw ask her these same questions. What has been done? We have robust policies.
With
asking-
actions underway.
I'm asking what actions have been taken against
Given-
those students.
Given students' rights to privacy and our obligations under FERPA, I will not say more about any specific cases other.
She did not ask you for specific cases or specific students. She asked you what has been done. Saying that 12 students have been expelled is not outing any of the students who got expelled. It's saying we expelled people for this. She's not even asking you for the number. Some people got an academic mark. Some people got detention. I know it's college, but some people only got one pudding at dinner. Nobody's asking you for the specifics of who. They're asking you what you have done. And the answer is clearly nothing. And instead of just saying nothing, which would go with your stated, hey, we let these people say what they want, you're like, look, man, I can't tell you about those specific incidents. Nobody asked you for that. It's, oh God, I fucking hate these pieces of shit.
Then to reiterate that processes are ongoing.
I'm sure.
Do you know what the number one hate crime in America is?
Grown adults wearing backpacks.
I know that over the last couple of months, there's been an alarming rise of anti-Semitism, which I understand is the critical topic that we are here to discuss.
That's correct. It is anti-Jewish hate crimes. And Harvard ranks the lowest when it comes to protecting Jewish students. This is why I've called for your resignation, and your testimony today, not being able to answer with moral clarity, speaks volumes. I yield back.
All right, now Stefanik gets to ask questions over and over again. And the next part we actually have to go over to YouTube for, because I didn't find it in the, this is a long fucking hearing. It's 5 hours and some change. So luckily somebody was nice enough to put it over on the Twitter, and we're going to watch it there. It's this one here. Now this part is interesting.
Dr. Kornbluth, at MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct or rules regarding bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
If targeted at individuals, not making public statements.
Yes or no? Calling for the genocide of Jews does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
Okay, so once again, does this violate your code of conduct? That's all she's being asked, yes or no. I haven't heard that on our campus. That's not the fucking question. She didn't ask you, have you heard it? You know, there's laws that exist, right? Like there's some law, I believe it's in Iowa, about whaling. Never been a whale in Iowa. Well, at least not in the last hundreds of thousands of years. That doesn't mean there's not a law against it. I've never seen a whale in Iowa. There's still a law for it. And if somebody asks you, hey, are you allowed to whale in Iowa? You go, no, it's against the law. You wouldn't go, no, I've never seen a fucking whale here. It's an extreme example. And I'm not positive it's Iowa. I forget where it is. It's some landlocked state. But the point being, just because you haven't seen the behavior doesn't mean you do or don't have a policy about it. In fact, seeing the behavior is entirely irrelevant to whether or not you have a policy about it. Disciplining somebody for that policy would be whether or not you saw somebody do it, you fucking retard.
Campus.
But you've heard chants for Intifada.
I've heard chants, which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
All right. We got, hopefully, because this is a Twitter video, sometimes it pauses or it freezes up when you go back. So I just want you guys to listen to that again.
Does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
But you've heard chants for Intifada.
Listen.
I've heard chants, which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
It can be anti-Semitic depending on the context when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people. Apparently there's a context where calling for the elimination of Jews is not anti-Semitic. At MIT. This is MIT. These are the smartest people in the fucking country. And this woman just said that there are times where you can call for the elimination of Jews and it's not anti-Semitic. Can anybody in the chat give me an example of when it's not anti-Semitic to say we should kill all the Jews? Anyone? I racked my brain for this. I was like, I cannot think of how in the fuck you can call for the elimination of Jews. That's her words. The elimination of Jews and it not be anti-Semitic. What, they just all happen to be wearing backpacks and you're like me and adults with backpacks should be no, because that doesn't get rid of the kids. I don't know. This is MIT.
So those would not be according to the MIT's code of conduct or rules.
That would be investigated as harassment if pervasive and severe.
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment. Yeah.
It's a very simple question. Is calling for genocide of Jews against your code of conduct? Yes or no? Yes or no? You can, if you want to then go on, like, is calling for genocide against the Jews against your code of conduct? No, because we believe in free speech and it would only rise to an issue if it turned into actual violence. You know, there's an answer, but you still actually answered the fucking question. I feel like we're almost in a debate prep right now, because tomorrow this is going to be, I already know, I'm calling it now, that over and over and over again, I'm going to be like, that's not the fucking question.
I am asking, specifically calling for the genocide of Jews, does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a
Okay, in that case, I guess there is one place where I could see calling for the death of all Jews is not anti-Semitic, and that would be if you were making some kind of joke. There you go. Context, I guess, matters, but otherwise.
context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill.
It would be the easiest example if it was actually, or to answer yes, if it was actually against their code of conduct.
So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If it if the
Yes
speech
or no?
becomes, if the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to
Yeah, genocide's just a little bit harassing when you actually commit it. Fuck me.
give you one more opportunity
She ain't gonna
for the
answer.
world to see your answer. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment?
Back up off
Yes
your
or
mic.
no?
It can be harassment.
The answer is yes.
No.
And Dr.
The
Gay,
answer is no.
at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
No.
It can be, depending
Can
on the
be.
context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, targeted at an individual.
It's
Severe,
targeted at
pervasive.
Jewish.
All right. So if you walk up to a Jewish guy and tell him you hope all Jews get genocided, that you targeted it at him, although it's still targeted at all Jews, then it's harassment. But if you say it to your friend and you sincerely mean it, you say it to, like, Hassan Piker comes to your campus and you go, Hassan, I think we should kill all the Jews. And a Jewish guy standing there next to you going, did you really just fucking say that? Then it's not harassment. All right, cool.
Students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand
not.
that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism?
Now, this is where I start to part ways because, again, is it dehumanizing? No, it's murderous. I think you got to let people. Hang on one second. It's anti-Semitism. It's anti-Semitism if it's convenient for us, and it's not anti-Semitism if it's inconvenient to us. Thank you, Circus Zero. Yes, exactly. Can we get positive press off this? Then yes, it was anti-Semitism, and we got rid of them. Was it what they should have said is wait, do they support Donald Trump? Because then yes, it would be targeted harassment. Because that's what they really mean. Because again, it's not a whole bunch of young Republicans and Turning Point USA. These aren't the people out there who say, we got to kill the Jews. It's a bunch of fucking lefties. If they kicked off campus all of the lefties who are talking about it's all right to kill all the Jews right now, specifically infantata, using that word, there would be a severe lack of things for the professors to do because all their students would be gone.
I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
No.
Anti-Semitic rhetoric. When
And is it
crosses into
anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
Again, not the question. And the problem here is she knows that if she gave the real answer, she'd get in trouble for it. There'd be way too much pushback to say what she's really thinking. Sorry, guys. I'm still very what's the word? Mucusy. That's a great word to use. So occasionally it will get just a little bit quiet as I have to clear my throat. They know that the answer would get them in a lot of trouble. If she got up there and said, yeah, look, we allow anti-Semitism, then it's a front page. Harvard allows anti-Semitism. But she got to be like, look, it depends on the content. If it crosses the line, and if they say these words, is that against your code of conduct? If it crosses the line, no. That's saying no right there. Because you're if it goes into intimidation or violence or bullying, that's not just words anymore. I mean, I know bullying these days is, oh my God, you bullied me. You said something I didn't like. But, and by that measure, her answer should have been yes. But again, it's the Jews, and you're allowed to bash them these days because, I mean, Joe Biden has to be elected president again. I mean, it's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay these days. Because it's not the MAGA cult that's doing it. It's not the maggots. I hate these fucking people. I really do. So yeah, that's happening up on Capitol Hill today. I think I can get to. I want to find that other chick because if you guys have never seen her talk, I fucking love her. I know we watched her before. That congresswoman from Texas I was talking about earlier. Which one is that? This one. Oh, there she is. There she is. It was still queued up to where she was talking. Seriously, lady, you are setting black people back speaking like this. Now, that might sound racist, but wait until you hear her. Oh my God, how far back does she start? Right there. Okay, so this is a oversight committee hearing on female athletics and Title IX.
Thank you, Mr. Grothman. The chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett from Texas.
Crockett, that's her name.
Oh, okay. All right. So most everyone up here on the other side of the aisle has endorsed a person that has been found liable for sexual abuse of women to be our president of the United States. But we are going to talk about how this party is going to protect women.
All right. Again, that is from the E. Jean Carroll thing. He found guilty of assaulting a woman. The evidence in that case is non-existent. And if you look at her actual claim, it makes no goddamn sense. She claims a physically impossible encounter unless Donald Trump is hung to his knees. But all right, yeah. That has something to do with women actually getting beaten up by men, literally beaten up in some cases.
Protecting women, what exactly does that mean? Are we going to talk about sexual abuse? Because we can get into it, because we do have some real conversations that we can have about it. Considering the fact that we're currently in the middle of, say, a war, there's been allegations of...
We're not in a war, sweetheart. What are you fucking talking about? Since we're currently in the middle of a war, I'm not going to do her voice because that'll get me kicked off YouTube. Be like, you're doing a black stereotype. Like, no, I'm actually talking like she is. See, considering we are currently in a war, what war? What war would that be? I don't know if she's talking about Ukraine or Israel, but in either case, we're not in a war.
Rape being used in war, seems like maybe we could have a few conversations about what it would look like to prevent that, what it would look like to maybe go and get those hostages out, maybe go and send some money to our allies. It looks like we could do something of value, but let me tell you.
This is what I was talking to you guys about earlier. Just because the hearing is on a specific matter doesn't mean the retard who gets to speak, and I'm not just talking about her, I mean most of them in this position, is going to talk about the relevant item. Just want to remind you, they're talking about trans women in sports is basically what this is about. It's protecting women. It's Title IX, the literal thing that was like, we have to let women have the same chance to compete that men have. We have to give them the opportunity. That's what Title IX was for. And they're now like, Donald Trump stuck his finger in a woman, and there's some stuff going on. We're in a war, and we could go get those people and give money to folks. The fuck are you talking about? Somebody wrote this down and thought that this made sense. They put this out into the world. They handed this to a congresswoman to read. Kind of.
This session, we have set so many good records. One of those records was we've had a record number of people that have retired or announced their retirements in the month of November from the House. And from everything that I hear, it's because this body has become completely unserious.
A record number in the month of November. I guess. Sure. Why not?
But we do have serious issues, especially when it comes to women. So let's talk about what it looks like to protect women in this country.
Oh, please.
When lawmakers like this are so far out of touch with what women need, we see states pushing back, at least states that will allow you to push back. I'm from the state of Texas, and of course, they don't want you to ever have an opportunity to raise your voice in the state of Texas. In fact,
can we address this for a second? I'm from the state of Texas, and in the state of Texas, women, they never want you to be able to raise your voice or push. You were a fucking congresswoman, lady. What'd you do? Sneak in? Fucking.
In fact, Ms. Perry, I know your organization, the Heritage Foundation, loves Texas. Ooh, they love
The Heritage Foundation. They love Texas. They did love the Texas. Jesus fucking Christ. This is a member of Congress.
Texas. They always sending us some nonsense bills that
Bills.
somehow set this country on the wrong trajectory. They send them to Texas. They send them to Florida. Every deplorable state that we can think about, they usually coming out of y'all's think tank. But nevertheless, when we talk about protecting women, what we've seen is, say, in the state of Ohio was one of the most recent states when their lawmakers didn't have the courage to do what they needed to do because, of course, we believe in
Point of order.
gerrymandering.
Okay, and this is where they get into the point of order and stuff. I just wanted to show you guys what a representative from Texas looks like. Jesus Christ. When she says bills, it makes me laugh every time. We got these bills. Fuck. Oh my God. Yeah, women can't get ahead in Texas. That's why I am a representative in the United States Congress. One of 435 people in this house. Out of the 330 million people in the country, I'm one of 435. But women can't get ahead in Texas. Jesus freaking Christ. Anyway, goddamn. That is our Congress, man. Tomorrow we will be doing the debate. I don't know when I'll start because I've been playing games with Satsu, and I'll still do that. And we'll probably just do a live reaction to the debate like we did last time. But hopefully it won't be too late. Now it might go really late because we're going to cover the whole thing. I don't know if I can take it after tonight, man. There's too much politics in the world. Everybody's a politician. Why is everybody so afraid of their own goddamn opinion? If you're an idiot, by all means, just shut the fuck up. But these are people who are in positions of power. Those three ladies we saw dodge the question of whether or not advocating genocide specifically against Jews, like, is that against your code of conduct? I look, man, you're asking me a yes or no question. You should be able to just look at their fucking code of conduct and see if that's allowed. Do you think their code of conduct actually says, look, sometimes it's okay to advocate for killing Jews? Sometimes. As long as it's in the right setting. Do you think that's what their code of conduct says? Because I have a feeling it's not that specific. But these are the kind of people who get put in charge of stuff. And it's not lost on me that all three of these were women. And that's not to say, oh, those damn women. But I would have liked to have seen them have one guy up there. Just one of them who would be willing to go like, yeah, that's what I believe. Although I don't think any guys would do it these days either. It's not lost on me that all they called was females. And granted, they went for Harvard, which is an obvious one. MIT, I guess, is kind of an obvious one. But then the University of Pennsylvania, maybe they were doing close schools. I don't know. Nothing out of USC, nothing out of Florida, Texas A&M, no other, just these three women. I almost feel like they were beating up on women. They fired the men for diversity. You're not wrong. There is a moment in that, the first one that we watched there, where she's asked about the Miss Gay there, Professor Gay. That's what it was. That Professor Gay, President Gay, was talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion because somebody asked her about that. And she actually says this, our DEI department is for everybody. It's for Is it? Because I feel like I would not be welcome there. I am an old white man. Dr. Gay, that's what it was. Dr. Gay. I'm an old white man. I feel like DEI is specifically targeting me. I'm not their friend. No, it's for everybody. Well, if it's for everybody, why do you got to call it its own thing? Why is it diversity and inclusion? What needs diversifying? Lady Urkel. Oh my God, she kind of does look like it, right? With the Harry Carey glasses. Oh man. I keep I keep hearing the meme, why are you gay? I don't know. I don't think college is a bad thing. I think what we've done to college is a bad thing. I think what we've done to society in general is a bad thing. You should be able to have honest conversations. But if you have the wrong honest conversation, then you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a phobe of some sort. But when you have actual people calling for genocide, they're like, I mean, sometimes that's okay. I ran a poll on Twitter just the other day asking if genocide's ever okay, and then made the argument that sometimes it is. I'm not against having the academic discussion, but we're not talking about academic discussions here. We're talking about pissed off people who don't even really understand what's going on, and then running their goddamn mouths repeating terrorist slogans. We're not talking about serious people with academic studies here. And even then, I support their right to say stupid shit and don't think they should be kicked off campus for it. But by that same token, I don't think somebody who doesn't like black people should be kicked off campus for not liking black people. I don't think black people who don't like white people should be kicked off campus. I think you should be allowed to have fucking opinions. And that the answer to it isn't going, you're not allowed to speak anymore, but arguing against it. Now, we need to talk about, because I know somebody's going to bring it up, but Monkey, you said it's okay for law firms to say they're not going to hire these people. Yes. Because a law firm should not have to hire somebody that believes in something they don't believe in. I am old school when it comes to hiring. I think you should be able to reject anybody you want for any fucking reason you want. If somebody walks in, a grown-ass man wearing a backpack, and I'm like, no, get the fuck out, I should be allowed to do that. Just like if I walk in to a black-owned business and they're like, we're not hiring honkies, I'd be like, cool. All the best with your business here. I'm going to go try to find somewhere else to work. And it's a problem that mostly takes care of itself. In a town where I live, it could cause an issue because it's a tiny, tiny town. You go into Grand Rapids, though, and chances are, even if half the businesses you run into are racist or anti-Jew or whatever, the other half aren't. The other half are like, I just want to make money. I think you should be able to keep people from working for you for whatever fucking reason you want to. Here's one that pisses me off. If a woman comes in to apply for a job and she's pregnant, if you're somebody who's in hiring, you're not supposed to even mention anything about her being pregnant. You know why? Because if you don't hire her, she can then sue you for not hiring her when she was pregnant. And I'm going to tell you something. If I'm looking to hire somebody, I don't want somebody that's pregnant. Hear me out. Chances are, if I'm hiring somebody, it's because I need somebody doing this job. And knowing in a couple of months, you're not going to be there for 6 to 8 weeks puts me in a bit of a pickle. I want to hire somebody who's going to be there. But you're not even allowed. No, can't do that. Why? Well, because pregnant women need jobs. I hear you. But I need somebody who can work. I need somebody who's going to be here. And again, I should be able to I think your eyes look a little crooked. I'm not hiring you. It's your business. You're the one who has to deal with the consequences of these shitheads that you hire. Why are you forced to hire people you don't want working for you? That's why if you are somebody who's hiring, be as vague as possible. You only stick to the script. Like, what would you say your greatest strength is? Getting pregnant. Oh, shit. She said it. Now I have to hire her. Yeah. I just think that shit's stupid. I think that you should be able to hire, fire, whatever you want. So when it comes to this, it's not that I have a difference. I still think those people, these Harvard grads, when they finally do graduate, who were like, these Israelis did this, that if anybody doesn't want to hire them, fuck them. They said it's shit. Go find, there are plenty, you know what? CARE will hire you. There's plenty of places that'll still hire you. You don't have to force yourself on Jews who don't want to hear from you that Jews deserve to die. All right? That's fucked up and it's stupid. But when it comes to any kind of legal recourse, I don't think they should be like thrown in jail for it. And I don't think they should be kicked out of school for it. Because college is one of those places where you should. Now, the one exception to that I will say is that college down in Florida where those fuckers, they didn't just say that they were supporting Hamas, which is bad enough. They literally said they were Hamas. Them you can kick out because they admitted to being terrorists. They admitted to being criminals. Kick them out. I don't have a problem with that. All right. That's all I brought for the day, y'all. And frankly, I'm impressed I drug it out this long. And I condensed some of it. I was like, I don't need that. We'll have plenty of time later. And then I thought about what all I had. And I thought, ooh, I probably should have done that. There were a couple more clips from the different hearings, but they infuriated me so much. So tomorrow we got Chris Christie, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, and Nikki Haley on the stage. And I'm looking forward to it because you guys know how I love it. No matter how much I bitch about it, I love my politics. And I wonder who's going to drop out next. Because we started at what, 7 or 8, and then we went down to 5 or 6, and now we're down to 4. 4 left. That none of those are counting Trump, who, once again, I will say, should stop pussing out and going to the debate. You're not an incumbent. Your ass should be up there running for the presidency. But the truth of the matter is, Donald Trump's going to win all this. Mostly what I'm looking for tomorrow, and I kind of feel a little mean for this, I'm looking for Nikki Haley to get severely embarrassed. Is that right? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? I want to see them just flat destroy this woman tomorrow. Because I don't want yet another rhino up there as the Republican nominee. I'm so tired of the Republicans that get put up being shitbags. For fuck's sake, Romney and McCain were nominated back-to-back as Republicans. And then Trump sneaks in there. Nobody wanted Trump. Nobody in the establishment wanted Trump. He sneaks in there, wins for a fucking change. And that's the Republicans' turn on the man. Let's put everything else aside about the election, okay? Everything else. You guys get what I mean by that? I used to say we're on YouTube, so we can't talk about it. Put everything else aside. If just the fucking shitbag Republicans who came out and went, I'm a Republican, but I could never support Donald Trump, so I'm supporting Joe Biden. If just those shitbags hadn't have pulled that crap, if they'd even just stayed home instead of voting for Biden, Trump wins. Unmistakably, he wins. You actually have the Republican Party working for the Democrats. And now you have them pushing this horrible fucking bitch who's literally playing identity politics. And that's who they're all drooling over. She's not even that good looking. She's starting to get the Maria Shriver thing. So I don't even understand why everybody, oh, she's so hot. That bitch needs to eat a sandwich or two. Maybe when her husband's gone, she doesn't eat. I don't know. But I just want to see her destroyed. I want to see people finally call her out for what she is. Hopefully Ramaswamy does it tomorrow because I don't think the other two have the balls to do it. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. We are hour and 45. That's respectable. No game tonight, guys. I played before the stream. I was over on twitch.tv/ranting monkey. We played some Ark over there. Me and Satsu were doing a playthrough. You can watch his on 2 Cents Plus on YouTube. And you can watch the two of them together. Turn off one of the volumes and just watch them both together. And it'll be like we're playing the same game because we were. But check that out. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are awesome. And I really, really do appreciate it. Megan Kelly's one of the moderators tomorrow. That could be fun. Yeah, I saw that she was, and I was shocked because I forget the news network it's not like CBS or ABC. It's one of the lesser knowns. that she's who is it? It's the one Bill O'Reilly works for, right? I forget the name of it, but they're doing the debate, and I saw she was one of the moderators. It would be much more fun if Trump was there with her as the moderator. Either way, we'll be watching it tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Tomorrow night, we're gonna watch a bunch of idiots say stupid shit. I'm gonna cuss a lot. Put the kids to bed early.